also have
What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Sorry about that. We had a problem with the sound for the videos. My apologies. Let's pretend it doesn't happen. Let's start again. Let's scrub the last video. Let's pretend it didn't happen. So, we are going on a journey tonight. I had this all practiced in my head. You know what I mean? I had it all perfect. We're going on a journey tonight. We're going into the future. We're going to guess future the world economic. No, sorry. The 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 EU. The God, I'm lost for words. I'm all flustered now. We are going in the future. We're going on a trip to the future. We're going to guess the future of the world, not the World Economic Forum, but the EU. The EU experiment. Uh, yeah, this. I thought this would come out. No, it was. It did come out perfect in the last video. You're gonna have to believe me. We're going on a trip in the future, and we're going the EU. But first, before we guess what the future for the EU is, uh, the the EU Parliament and the EU. Uh, God, I've just gone totally brain dead. My apologies. It's totally flustered me out. Having to start the video again. My bad. We're going to guess the future of the EU Parliament, and we're gonna have a game of guess what might happen in the future for the EU Parliament and the EU experiment. But before that, we're going to look into the World Economic Forum, the WEF. Now, you talk to some people and they'll think you're crazy and that it doesn't exist. Now, I know what the EU is. It's an elected democratic uh, parliament where people get voted in. It's democratic. It's meant to be fair and totally uncorruptible. But I have no idea what the World Economic Forum is. And if you talk about it, you're called a conspiracy theory. So let's find out what the World Economic Forum is. This is redacted. They're good people. So let's listen in and see what they have to say about the World Economic Forum, and then we'll go on a trip into the far future and speculate on what might happen to the EU Parliament.
a community section. I'm going to tell you about our community where you can support for the price of a cup of coffee. If you want to support independent journalism, that's what we do here. You know, we're on a shoestring budget. We're on a bootstrap budget. So we are not CNN. We are not the Wall Street Journal. We are not the New York Times. You can come over here. And if you're on Rumble, you can click the join button to join our locals community. And we've got exclusive content, behind the scenes content, special videos and things that will not be published to the broader community. So if you are a subscriber, if you're a VIP, you can join the rebellion. And for the price of a cup of coffee once a month, you can get exclusive access to all of that great content. Again, redacted.inc is the place to go. Well, Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum is underway right now in Davos, Switzerland. The globalists meeting to decide how they will control you for the next decade or so of your life, or maybe even the next 100 years. But who is Klaus Schwab? The man that sits at the helm of the World Economic Forum, the WEF. Well, investigative journalist Johnny Vedmore has spent a long time investigating Klaus Schwab, and he joins me now.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Emil. I should have picked up on that myself, but thank you so much. Much appreciated on the heads up that there was no sound. You're a lifesaver.
Oh, and Johnny, as we were talking here before the show, I mean, it's not just about Klaus Schwab. These tentacles are deep and they are wide. What made you start investigating Klaus Schwab?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Clayton. Me and my girlfriend Whitney, we were sitting around the coffee table in Chile, and we were looking for information on him. And
Yeah, because this guy, he's like a ghost. Does he exist? Is he real? You talk to some people and says, you're a conspiracy nut. You don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't exist. The World Economic Forum doesn't exist. You're mad.
and Whitney said to me, "Why don't you investigate Klaus Schwab? You go back in the time through the elites of history. Why don't you look? Because there's nothing out there about him, which is in great contrast to what is now." And I feel that's really affected by the information I found, because everything had been scrubbed online, and that intrigues any investigative journalist. And I love going back through history, so I went back as far as I could. I started backwards from Schwab's in the past, because so much had been deleted. There's no point in going back through time. You have to start already in history and look at all of the Schwabs. So basically, I spent 4 to 5 weeks just searching every Schwab in history in Germany and their ancestry. And I eventually found Klaus Schwab's ancestors, his father, his mother, his grandfather, and an amazing story surrounding it. An amazing story. Klaus Schwab, his father was Eugen Schwab, born 1898, and eventually, when he was older, he would work for a Nazi model company called Escher Weiss. And during the war, Escher Weiss would be central to the Nazi atomic bomb program. And so Klaus Schwab's father, who was managing director of the main factory in Ravensburg, was not only making submarine parts and aircraft parts for the Nazis, and potential atomic bomb casings for the Nazis as well.
I bet you didn't think it went back this far. I bet you didn't think that it went back to World War II.
They were also making the large turbines that would power the heavy water hydroelectric dams that they normally built them for. It was the same way they enriched uranium for their type of process of atomic bomb making. And so he was a very important man, Eugen Schwab. Of course, the Nazis weren't successful, and when Klaus was growing up, Germany was being reconciled. It was trying to change its image to the rest of the world. They were trying to say, look at us, we're now kind, we got over it. And at the same time, America was kind of learning some of the tools that the Nazis had used. The American intelligence services were using some of those tools to kind of do the same tricks the Nazis were pulling in attempt to fight.
Right. Emil Saxon says Waddy Murray film has just released a great video on YouTube called I'm Ashamed of My Country. Waddy Murray. Okay. I will check that out, Emil, after the stream. Much appreciated.
Communism, for a good aim. They were saying, we're going to fight back these Soviets. Before it, we need to get dirty. And they started, of course, we know Operation Paperclip. They started bringing people in. And there was lots of projects set up. And in 1950, there was a special project set up in Harvard called Kissinger's International Seminar. It was actually set up by William Yandell Elliott, a grandee of American politics.
Now, these are big name. Henry Kissinger. I think he's still alive and he's still in politics to this day. He was involved since the Kennedys. These are big names being thrown around here.
politics, who basically had been advisor to 6 different presidents throughout his career, as a high-ranking CFR member, and he invented this seminar which a newly graduated Kissinger was put in charge of, and it was about training young global leaders. And in 1965 or 64, Eugene Schwab, Klaus Schwab's father, would say to Klaus, the only place you're going to go to succeed in the world now is Harvard. And he went and got offered a place, because you didn't apply for Kissinger's international seminar. You were often headhunted. You could apply, but only the best got in. And they were looking for the best potential young leaders. And Klaus Schwab, in 1965, joined the ranks of Kissinger's international seminar, which he graduated in 1967, and was a CIA-funded course. On the year Klaus Schwab graduated in 1967, Humphrey Dorman of Harvard released preempting releases in the New York Times and another newspaper of the information that the Kissinger's International Seminar had been funded between 1960 and 1966 by the CIA through American Friends of the Middle East, which was set up by Kermit Roosevelt, the Farfield Foundation, and the Asian Foundation.
Wow.
So Klaus Schwab had just gone through a CIA-funded course in Harvard. He was given, during that course, 2 mentors, one really fantastically interesting and important people in history, one being Herman Kahn, who's described as a real Dr. Strangelove, and is a guy you want to explore in detail, and John Kenneth Galbraith, another grandee of American politics, who was the teacher of JFK. JFK made him ambassador to India, wanted him to be ambassador to the Soviet Union. So, saw him in that sort of, held him in that sort of regard. And John Kenneth Galbraith has one of the most amazing histories around. And John Kenneth Galbraith, along with Otto von Habsburg, would become the keynote speakers in the First World.
Yeah, this is like scary stuff. These are big name. These are big hitters. Still to this day, some of them are really big behind the scenes. These are the people you don't usually hear about, but these are the guys. These are the guys controlling the puppets.
Economic Forum, which was basically pushed forward by John Kenneth Galbraith and Herman Kahn, this team that had been given to Schwab through Harvard by Kissinger. They went back to get support for this new creation of what was a European Management Symposium that would 2 years later become the European Management Forum, and in the during the fall of the Soviet Union, it would become the World Economic Forum, which show its true face. And so that's a course that Klaus Schwab went through. Now, in 1967, when he finished that course, he went back, and before they set up the World Economic Forum, he went back to work for his father's old company, Escher Weiss. Peter Schmidheiny, the CEO then, whose father had been Jacob Schmidheiny, had been the CEO while Eugene Schwab had been at Escher Weiss, phoned up Klaus Schwab, and Peter Schmidheiny said, hey, we've got a merger going on between Sulzer AG, Brown Boveri, Escher Weiss. We're merging them into a new company, and we want you at the helm. And what did Klaus Schwab do? He becomes second in charge of this merger and of these companies, and then the companies started selling illegally weapons technology, nuclear weapon technology, to the South African apartheid regime, so they could make bombs, which they made 6 bombs complete. They never tested their bombs. They made 6 complete nuclear bombs, with a 7th that was basically being constructed when they finally dismantled the program. This all came out in Swiss courts as well, so this is all documented in evidence. And this is what Klaus Schwab was at them. He did exactly the same as his father. His father helped a racist Nazi regime to try and create the atomic bomb to win World War II. And Klaus Schwab went on afterwards with his father's, pushing it on from behind to do exactly the same thing with South Africa. And Klaus Schwab then,
Jesus. And this guy has power over the EU Parliament, the bastion of freedom, the bastion of incorruptibility. This guy has power over them. That's really bad. That's not good.
over years, Harvard, the project, the Kissinger's International Seminar, once exposed, kind of like sort of crumbled into the sea. Kissinger went off to serve in Nixon's cabinet, eventually getting into high levels and being responsible for some of the most amazing moments throughout history. Kissinger is a really interesting person in this. He's really important, and he stayed in the background, but in the 80s he started to get back involved with the World Economic Forum, showed his face. The World Economic Forum, really interesting at the start, because it started off, it had a really big, it had these big names to open up the actual opening of the European Management Symposium. And then the second year stumbled a bit, and the third year they got in limits of growth. They got in the Club of Rome. Aurelio Pecci was the keynote speaker just after they had written this, the limits to growth, which basically said, and he said it with it.
It sounds like a bunch of chancers just trying it on, and it worked.
In the speech that the enemy of humanity would be man itself in the future. And of course, we know that later on, Klaus Schwab in the 90s started up the Global Leaders for Tomorrow program with the World Economic Forum when it rebranded. That was the start of recreating Kissinger's International Seminar.
Jeez.
And by 2004, the Dan David Foundation gave Schwab a $1 million prize, said, hey, have this prize that we give every year for all your hard work, do with it what you will. And he said, with this money, I'm going to make the Young Global Leaders Forum, so that we can base the Forum for Young Global Leaders, where we can industrially train global leaders that can then penetrate the cabinets, etc. Now, on the board of the Dan David Foundation, when they gave him this prize money to set up the Young Global Leaders, was, of course, Henry Kissinger. And it's
Jesus, Henry Kissinger back again. My God. The names that are flying around. This guy is so well connected with unbelievable people. Like, it's just
a cycle that goes round in a circle. Schwab recreated Henry Kissinger's International Seminar, which the German Marshall Fund, based at Harvard, from another Kissinger protege, Guido Goldman, had also run loads of leadership courses in between, but they hadn't had the same sort of impact that Kissinger's International Seminar had. Kissinger's International Seminar produced Pierre Trudeau, Klaus Schwab, and Valery Giscard of France, the president of France, Japanese president, and Israeli prime minister. I mean, it really was a case that Kissinger's International Seminar was the gold standard of courses, and Klaus Schwab is the number one protege of Henry Kissinger,
and funded in part.
right. There you go. Don't if you're talking to someone that said the World Economic Forum doesn't exist, it's a conspiracy theory. Here's your evidence. It's out there. The truth is out there. You just have to dig a little bit. The names that are funding this and the way they set it up, it's like they were chancing their arm, and the EU Parliament just sucked it up like a Hoover. And now I understand why the World Economic has so much sway over the EU, the supposed bastion of democracy in Europe, uncorruptible. Oh, right. That is redacted. I highly recommend you go and watch the whole video. It's very interesting stuff. I will leave a link in the description later on. Let's go on to something else, huh? Now, I said we were going to take a trip into the future, and about the EU and what plans they could possibly have. What's going on with all this illegal immigration happening across Europe, in Ireland, England, France, even America. America has open borders. And, I think it's all down to the World Economic Forum. But apparently the World Economic Forum doesn't exist, so don't worry about it. It's grand. Yeah, the uncorruptible EU. You want 2 minutes of truth? Let's have 2 minutes
Madam
of truth.
President, Prime Ministers, 2 minutes of truth, of bitter truth. And the bitter truth is that the European Parliament has done a lot of damage in Europe. It has been sending a false message. It represents European demos. There isn't, and there won't be any European demos. The Parliament infected Europe with shameless partisanship. And the infection became so contagious that it spread to other institutions, such as European Commission. The Parliament...
Van der Haar isn't looking too fucking impressed, is she? I don't think she was expecting this after her conflicts.
The Parliament has abandoned the basic function of representing people. Instead, it has become a machine to implement the so-called European project, thus alienating millions of voters.
There's a disconnect between people and the voting. It's no longer people voting for politicians. It's politicians voting for politicians. The people have been left out of the equation. That is the European Parliament. The European Parliament doesn't give a shit about you.
Parliament has become a political vehicle of the left to impose
all they can do is laugh because they know it's true. That's all they can do is laugh. Yeah, it's true.
to impose their monopoly with their fierce intolerance towards any dissenting view. No matter how many times you repeat the word diversity, diversity is becoming an extinct species in the European Union, and particularly in this chamber.
Yeah, he's got them good, hasn't he? Elmer Saxon, when they speak of democracy, they don't mean the government by the people. They mean financial democracy where money counts and nothing but money. Yes, it's all about the money, Elmer Saxon. All about the money. Only begins when the will of the people is carried out. Absolutely. Absolutely.
The Parliament is a quasi-parliament because it rejects the...
They're not even giving him the respect to... They're not even listening to him. The disrespect.
The essential principle of parliamentarism.
They have no interest in this speech. They have no interest in correcting themselves.
Namely, accountability. The deputy, let me remind you, is elected by the voters and must be accountable to the voters that elected him. Not so in the European Union. The idea that, say, Spanish, German, French, etc., deputies accountable to their own national electorates can dictate something to, shall we say, a Hungarian society or any other society to which they cannot be held accountable and which cannot take them to task is simply preposterous.
Look at the utter disgust on her face. Doesn't that say it all? How dare you tell the truth? How dare you? You're one of us.
Call it what you will, but democracy it is not. To sum up, the Parliament represents the demos that does not exist, works for the project that ignores reality and law, shuns accountability, turns its back on millions of people, and serves the interest of one political orientation. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case.
What a brilliant speech. I mean, if that doesn't say we need to get the hell out of the EU as fast as possible, I don't know what else says it. But it gets worse. Elmer Saxon, Widmer conditions require Widmer solutions. I wish I could say I know what you're trying to say, but obviously, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm dipping my toe into this, and I'm trying my best. Please be gentle. Right, this is a new one down here. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this one, guys and girls. More about the EU and where the EU is going. The EU Parliament, democracy at its finest. Na, na, na. Look at this. EU MPs charged with corruption and money laundering. Well, I am shocked and appalled.
Corrupt.
Now, this gentleman is called Count Dracula, and he is fantastic. He probably needs no introduction. Give him an out like there. The guy is brilliant. He has some amazing videos. Go check him out. Again, the links will be in the description.
Option in the EU? What? I'm shocked. Are you shocked? God, I don't believe it.
I'm totally shocked.
I don't believe it. I don't believe this for 1 second. Qatargate. 2 MEPs lose their immunity in corruption case. 2 MEPs have had their legal immunity lifted by European lawmakers following a request by Belgian authorities investigating a corruption scandal that has rocked the European Parliament. Now, one thing that I learned from my short time when I was over there at the European
We're in the Republic. Another comment from Elmer. God damn my speech impediment. Admiral the Saxon, Weimar Republic, 1920s Germany. The Frankfurt School influence research for Frankfurt School is a real eye opener. Okay, Saxon, no problem, buddy. Thank you for that. Like I said, I'm learning all of this. I'm giving it my best.
European Parliament, the one that's built and modelled after the Tower of Babel. Do with that what you will. I noticed a lot of stuff. Noticed a lot of things. And they're all corrupt. All of them. Every single one of them. They don't even read the laws that they vote on. They don't even read it. Don't even read any of it. These people just like either lift their hand up or put their hand down, and they haven't even read the shit that they're voting on. Right?
This is the EU Parliament, boys and girls. These are the people that are leading us into the brave new future.
Now, they're all corrupt. Now, the reason these guys are getting done for their corruption is they were probably doing their own little solo corruption and not the big, wide corruption that's part of the bigger picture that they're trying to push through. So that'll be why these two guys got. Italian Andrea Cozzolino and Belgian Mark Tarabella deny wrongdoing. The Qatargate affair unfolded when a Greek lawmaker and 3 other suspects were arrested on suspicion of corruption and money laundering. One of the suspects then agreed to tell all as part of a plea deal. Pier Antonio Panzeri is alleged to have led a network that took bribes from Qatar and Morocco in return for influencing the European Parliament. Some 1.5 million euros was recovered in cash in a series of raids in Brussels and Italy. Now, see them having their votes bought? Yeah, I completely believe that. Like, for example, like, see when it came to Article 13, it's not called Article 13 anymore, but I'm just going to still call it that because that's what people remember. They hadn't even read the bill, and you found out that these guys were all in bed with, like, records companies and fucking places like Shutterstock and movie companies and all that type of stuff. Yeah, they were bought. But, I mean, that's nothing new. That is nothing new when it comes to the state. Like, everyone, like, one of the things that people always point out is they're like, if everything was libertarian, then companies would just, like, run absolutely everything. They're going to buy the rain, and all that stuff. Oh, okay, well, if that's the case and companies would then become God, then companies must obviously be pumping every single bit of money into libertarian parties and making libertarian parties the biggest, by far, parties in the history of their country. No, they're not doing that. As someone who's in a libertarian party, I can assure you that literally no companies are doing that, because companies and big corporations need the referee for the game, because the game is a lot easier for them to play if it looks like they're playing by the rules, but they've actually given the referee a big stack of cash right before the game started.
And that is the European Union. That is the European Parliament down to a T. Right, that's Count Acula. I'm not going to show the whole video. Head over to his channel. Give him a like. The guy is a beast. I love Count Acula's stuff. Absolutely fantastic. Right, let's bring it home a little bit, huh? Let's ask a question. Why? Why are all these illegal, undocumented people coming over to Ireland? You're gonna love this. I love this. Why are? Right, we're gonna watch this for a little bit. This lady is fantastic. Shoes and beers are in. Head over to her channel, give her a like, give her a follow. Again, all of this information will be in the description. There'll be a link in the description for all of these videos. Now just watch this for a little bit.
We have them coming here. Where's all the children? Go on. Why Ireland?
Oh, Saxon, I think it's worse than that, buddy. I think it's worse than plantations. I think it's something more sinister than that.
Go on, what's your bag?
I'm talking about the 2040 situation in Ireland. They want what? 1 million new people, regardless of where they come from. I have a theory about that, and we'll get into that later.
Hello, sir. Can I speak to you for a moment?
These ladies are fantastic.
About staying in the refugee centres. How do you feel about that?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Have you got a private room in it? Have you got are you all in one big dormitory or one big one altogether? These are just for my channel. We're highlighting the way refugees are being put into big rooms like dormitories altogether. It's not healthy. It wouldn't be healthy. For you?
For me, it's not too bad. It's
Not too bad.
Yeah, don't even look bad.
How many would you say about is in there?
100, I think so.
100 men. All men. Why all men? Why no families of its refugees coming into the country for asylum?
This is not the interesting one. The interesting one is after this. There's another guy she talks to. And wait till you find out where he's from. That's when it gets interesting.
Can I ask?
Where's all the children and the women?
Don't get smart. Can I ask?
And I love that. That is such an Irish thing.
What
I love
country you
it.
come from? Hi lads, just doing interviews. Any of you interested in joining in the interview?
Yeah, this gentleman here. Wait till you find out where this guy is from.
I'm just saying, how do you feel about all in the lad? Sorry, my name is Dee, and I'm just doing an interview with people. How do you feel about all being in one? He's just informed you're all in one big room.
We are feeling good, but unfortunately we didn't have a time now, so we have some work.
Can I ask what country you're from?
Yeah, why not? We are from Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan. There is no more conflict in Afghanistan. Yeah. The war in Afghanistan and ended in a military defeat for the USA, brought on by the worst president the United States have ever seen, Joe Biden. An absolute joke of a man. I mean, let's be honest. Joe Biden isn't really in charge. Obama is. Guaranteed. I have a video about that. I'll show you. But that's this guy is from Afghanistan. Okay? Now, have a look at this guy. Let's ask a question. Do you think this guy is a practicing do you think he's Catholic? Do you think he might be Jewish? You think he might be Christian? No, there's a good chance. Just saying. There's a good chance might be Islamic faith of some kind. The religion of peace we all know and love. Because it's the religion of peace. Because Obama, once again, he said it's the religion of peace. So it must be the religion of peace. There's a good chance he's a member of the religion of peace. And yeah.
Why come to Ireland?
Why not? Because we had a problem.
There's no war in Afghan anymore. Like I said, it was a humiliating defeat for the US. An absolute debacle of a withdrawal from the region under Joe, the disgraced Biden.
In our country, that's why we came here.
Yeah. There's no war there now. At the moment now.
Yeah, there's still war, but we didn't show in the media.
John, Ireland is unrecognizable all over the country. It's a shame. I don't think it's that bad yet, John. But we'll get into the good. We'll get into the protests that are happening around the country. It will give you hope, John. Don't give up yet. But yeah, but let that sink in. This guy is from Afghan, and I don't think he's Catholic. Let's put it that way. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. What have we got? What have we got? Ah, yeah, this one, The Risen. Okay, this is an interesting one. The first guy you're going to see, people are saying that he was a plant by the government. And he was riling up the crowd, and he was making them angry. This is how not to do it. This guy here, he's wearing a mask. Now, if you're a true patriot of Ireland, John, I really think it is. Well, let me try and convince you otherwise, John. Stay with me, bud. This guy is wearing a mask. Would any if you're proud of what you're doing, if you're proud with your demonstration, would you be wearing a mask? I wouldn't. I wouldn't be hiding my face. But anyway, he wiles the crowd up into a frenzy, which is not what you should be doing.
This is for our country and our culture. No one else. And the only way to fucking...
And he's saying all the correct words. He's saying all the correct language. But there's just something off about it.
Do with these cunts is burn them out of the fucking place. No point standing here outside the gas station. You have to go to where the fucking stand and burn the fucking house.
That's not what you do. I'm in agreement with the reason. Government shill. I would say it probably is a government shill trying his luck, trying to start some trouble, trying to get these people arrested. Be careful at these protests. When you're at these protests, you need to be careful. Keep an eye out for this sort of thing and shut it down fast. Just walk away if you don't know what to say. Or just say, hey, no, that's not what we're here for. We're here for a peaceful protest. He should have been called out on this. And again, he's wearing a mask, so I think he probably was a government shill. Yeah, I think he probably was. The UK is the 15th most densely populated country in the world. People per square mile. England is the 7th. You can Google that. It's a fact. No problem, Saxon. I believe you, buddy. Plant. Rack Spanner thinks he's a plant. I'm 99% sure he was a plant. Yes. We bring a saving revolution. We are weary of deceit. We'll avenge the long betrayal. We will acknowledge no defeat. And that's really nice section. Saxon. Now we have Phil the man. Phil Dreyer. This guy is fantastic. This is how you do. This is how you do a speech.
Anyone here doesn't know me, my name is Philip Dwyer, the YouTube channel, Telegram, you name it. I've been trying to highlight this madness for the last couple of years in this country. I'm trying to do it with citizen journalism, spreading the word. And what's going on here is a complete destruction of our society as we know it. It's causing death, destruction, rape and murder among our women and our children. The politicians that are in that...
Even the men are getting raped. Did you hear that story? Yeah, that happened.
Government, every single one of them, and the best advice I can give to the community here today is form a strong committee. Do not let anybody from a political party or affiliation take over. Every single one of them in that doll are on board with this madness. Every single one of them.
Yeah. We need to keep these protests going until at least the next election, guys and girls. We need to get the word out there. And we have to vote differently. We can't be voting for Sinn Féin, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. They're all the same. They're all the same party. They have all the same policies. They just pretend to knock heads every so often. It's all a game to them. There are alternatives. Admiral de Saxon says, we breathe the spirit of our fathers as daughters as proud as they overthrow the tyranny of falsehood, the powers of darkness and decay. We will be victorious of tomorrow, of the victims of today. I butchered that, That's another good one, Saxon. But what was I saying? There are alternatives to the three main parties, to the three stooges. There are alternatives. And they're called the Irish National Party and the Irish Freedom Party. If you want change, you have to vote for them, guys and girls. It's no good voting just because your great grandfather voted for Sinn Féin. That means you're going to do it. By God, my grandfather voted for them. I'm going to vote for them. They're not the same party your grandfather voted for. They are not the same. That leaves you with two choices: the Irish National Party or the Irish Freedom Party.
And I have to urge, everybody here is entitled to have their say. I have to urge you to remain peaceful.
Yeah.
They want you to react badly to this. They're just waiting. Do
Justin Barrett, IE. Yeah. Peaceful at all costs, boys and girls. They, like you said, they are just waiting for a slap, and it'll be all over the news, and we'll be the bad guys. We'll be the boogeymen that they wanted all along.
Do not fall into their trap. You are given inspiration to the communities all over Ireland to stand up against this evil madness that's going on in our country. The answer to this is all the communities in the country need to come out together and show the politicians that they have to go. They have to go.
If we keep up these great protests until the next election and you spread the word, we can do it. I truly believe we can do it. I truly believe we can change and get back our country and get the back out of the EU as fast as possible.
The people that they're bringing in here illegally, it's all reversible. It's very simple. You stop all the free stuff, the free accommodation. You lease 10 jet airplanes out there in Dublin Airport, and you begin to fly them back to wherever the hell they came from.
Yeah, I totally agree. Let me see. There's some great videos. Oh yeah, this just by the way, this is my playlist for Ireland. This is open to the public. You can dive in here anytime you want and scroll through these videos. We are getting the power back to the people. We just have to vote. We just have to keep up with the peaceful protests and just vote them out. I truly believe we can make a change. Oh yeah, you're going. This is Dan mixtape. I don't think Dan's mixtape needs any introduction. He's doing some great work.
On Monday, 30th of January,
again, all links will be in the description at the end of the video.
Leo Varadkar said he was never party to a legal strategy in relation to nursing home charges. Speaking on Fine Gael FM News Talk, Varadkar said he did not receive the so-called stealth memo in relation to the handling of legal claims around refunds over the state's failure to provide
the utter corruption of the Irish government makes my skin crawl.
nursing home care to older people. He was responding to a news report that first appeared in the Irish Mail on Sunday, outlining how successive governments had followed guidance in the memo to limit state liability and payments for public nursing home care that older people were entitled to, and compensation was denied to anyone who did not have the resources to fight legal cases. As soon as I heard this guff from Varadkar, my immediate thought was ex-Minister for Health, ex-Minister for Social Protection and caretaker for...
John, they are never going to be sent back we all know this, don't we? I don't know that. Not if we vote correctly, John. Not if we get a political party in there that cares about the Irish people. Get a national party in there, be it the Irish National Party or the Irish Freedom Party. There's always a chance, buddy. There really is. Jermaine Riley, no, never. We must stop any more coming in. Yes, we have to. But we have to do it peacefully, or we'll. It has to be peaceful. We have to wake the people up. I truly believe we keep protesting, we keep getting out there, we keep spreading the word, we keep spreading the videos. We don't stop. We can't stop.
For Brussels twice. He's lying. Or indeed, he's astoundingly incompetent. The former wouldn't surprise me. The latter begs the question, how are they in those positions in the first place? To no one's surprise, on Tuesday the 31st of January, the very next day, it was revealed that not only did Varadkar know about the memo, but he also signed off.
30 years they got away with this scam. 30 years. They're inheriting the scams. The politicians are so corrupt, they're passing the scams on to each other.
On secret payouts for families who were overcharged for nursing home care. The state faced the possibility of a 12 billion liability in compensation for thousands of families who were wrongly charged for the care of loved ones over a 30-year period. 30 years they did this. Their hatred and contempt for the Irish citizen truly knows no bounds. Another document shows that both current ministers for higher education and justice
30 years they had that scam going. 30 years.
Simon Harris and Helen McEntee, and also the then Attorney General Marie Whelan, were warned about the nature of the secret legal ploy in 2017. The memo warned them of the importance of managing the historic litigation with extreme care, discretion and confidentiality due to the substantial level of liability to which the state could be exposed to. It was also revealed that successive caretakers for Brussels and health ministers secretly planned to nefariously hide the true scale of the state's liability for illegal nursing home charges, so to prevent enormous payouts. As a result of these illegal charges, thousands of Irish families suffered extreme financial hardship. Never forget, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Labour and the now defunct Progressive Democrats all conspired together to prevent repayments worth billions. Former caretaker Enda Kenny declined to comment when approached by the Daily Mail, and that despicable ex-Minister for Health and Finance Michael Noonan claimed, "I don't know what you're talking about," while former assistant caretaker Eamon Gilmore, or Gimme Moore, said he had no recollection. Funny how I can remember having an SSIA account with a couple of grand in it, but these guys can't remember a secret deal worth billions.
It's absolutely sickening. Again, I'm not going to show the whole video. I think you should head over to Dan's Mixtape and get the full story. 30 years they had that scam going. 30 fucking years. The Irish government passed it on from one corrupt government to the next corrupt government for 30 years. Oh man, it makes you angry. It really does. Right, let's see. Now, remember the young fella I showed you earlier on, the guy from Afghanistan. Why are they bringing all these people? This is hypothetical. This is far into the future. We're talking about the European Union, okay? This is far, far into the future. Why do you think they need all these people? Could it be that there might be some sort of war in the future, say against a country that has all the oil and gas, and that country, let's call it the bear. Let's call it the bear country. The EU is probably going to poke the bear No, I think it goes worse than that. I think it goes worse than that. I think the EU wants the oil, wants the gas from this beer country, and who defeated the beer country back in the 80s? Well, it was the Afghans. It was the Afghan people that defeated the beer country. You know what I'm saying? You probably know what country I'm talking about. Who better to go to war? They're already poking the bear. Yes, that's what I'm getting at. Yes. I think they weren't expecting the bear to get that angry. I think it got them by surprise. And I think it messed up their plans. And now they're full on, so we say, mobilizing the troops. Because we all know the European Parliament wants a European army and a European police force. There won't be any Gardaí anymore. There won't be any Irish Defence Force anymore. It'll be a European police force. It'll be a European army. Now we're talking beyond 2040, I hope. But where are they going to get these young men? These young military age men? All the legal immigrations coming into the country. What if they, what do you call them? Brought them into the European army, brought them into the European police force. All the illegal immigrations. What if they suddenly were given uniforms and weapons? Think about that. There's a reason behind this madness, and it's not a good reason. Now, this is just hypothetical. This is all beyond 2040. But like I said, the bear has been poked, and they're kind of scrambling. So that's my out there conspiracy theory. Let's call it that. That these people will be protecting us as we sleep at night in the future. Doesn't that make you feel good? I'm sure absolutely nothing will go wrong. That's just my point of view. They could easily do it. They could make them legal in an instant. You know, you join up in the European army, we'll guarantee you citizenship. Job done. I'm sure these, lovely young men from around the world will only do good things, right? If they get the power. I'm sure there'll be no corruption like the European Parliament. So yeah, that's what I think might be happening in the far, far future. And it's not only, do you ever notice how media is absolute crap these days? How your favorite programs are full of hidden messages of what to say, how to think. That's not by accident either. Guess what they did to... you're not going to believe what they did to Scooby-Doo. You're not going to believe this. Let's go down here. I couldn't believe this. This is hilarious. Right, this guy is he's really good.
The only reason
George the Giant Slayer. If you're into movies, stuff like that, give him a follow.
is memorable is because it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. The Scooby-Doo spin-off minus Scooby isn't revolutionary. It's just there.
Yeah, there's no Scooby-Doo in Scooby-Doo. But that's not the worst of it. Since I got John, it's been non-stop shenanigans in this country since I can remember. Mostly monetary corruption, but they're now interfering with our very existence. Yes, they are, John. And that's why we have to vote the fuckers out. Forgive my French.
You got pointless plots which are spinning like a top going into nowhere. A Scooby-Doo spin-off series made by people who hate everything about Scooby-Doo, including you. So let's see exactly how the woke plantation destroyed and perverted all our favorite characters.
Oh God, he looks like Hitler! And not just because we compare everyone to Hitler these days.
Come on.
So you're going to start with Fred. The goody two-shoes Fred, you're going to say goodbye to him, Fred. He's gone and been replaced with Fred, not Fred. A sexist racist who's also a blue-blooded himbo with a small wang whose only crime is being white. Then we jump over to Daphne. Race swap Daphne, who's now Asian. She's been reborn as a plastic, sexually aggressive mean girl who sells drugs on the side. The queen of the soapbox who simultaneously throws out these punchlines like she's hitting you across the head. And did I forget? They also made Daphne gay. She joins her two adoptive moms who are also cops, plus Velma, who's gay. And then we got Shaggy not.
Remember now, this is Scooby-Doo, boys and girls. This is Scooby-Doo.
Shaggy, the incel known as Norva, who's now a black beta male bobblehead who's got a crush on Velma.
Great.
Yeah, lesbian kissing in a Scooby-Doo cartoon. We really needed that.
Now even just being myself won't work. Rom-coms can kiss my ass.
Now let's set the record straight and take a stand for Scooby-Doo. Daphne was never a mean girl. Fred, he was never insecure, nor was he a bully. And Shaggy, he wouldn't care if you were to call him a beta male. He was a fun, lovable character who was a stoner and had a good time with Scooby. And Scooby existed. The entire mystery game, the very core of their relationship was the bond that they shared with each other.
Now you gotta ask yourself, why is this happening? What are they trying to do? You see, they don't want strong males. They want you weak mentally, physically. They want you, like, there's... People are in such a mess out there that they're actually cutting body parts off just to make themselves feel better about themselves. And they want this. Big Pharma wants this. Because they're making tons of money on this. Tons of money on this. It's just crazy. You know? They want you weak. They want you not thinking straight. They want you worrying about this, worrying about that. But we need to be concentrated. We need to be concentrated on these demonstrations. We need to keep the demonstrations going. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, remember the guy, you know, from the Islamic country? I'm sure having them in uniforms won't be any problem at all.
Can you imagine? Just imagine. Iran. Couple jailed for 10 years over viral video showing them dancing at Tehran landmark. Astiaj Haggis and Amir Mohammed Ahmadi were arrested last November after the short clip on social media
10 years for dancing in public
went viral as Iran continued to crack down on any form of dissent following a wave of protests across the nation. Look at, oh God, I'm so glad they locked these two dangerous bastards up. A young couple in Iran have been jailed for more than 10 years each after a video on social media showed them dancing at one of Tehran's main landmarks. Astiaj Haggis and her fiancé, Amir Mohammed Ahmadi, were also banned from social activities on the internet and from leaving the country for 2 years. The Instagram users, both aged in their 20s, were arrested on the 1st of November after the video of them dancing at the Azadi Tower went viral. The news agency of human rights activists.
Do you think in the far future, do you think this could happen in Ireland?
said they were both jailed for 10 years and 6 months for promotion of impurity and indecency, assembly and collusion against national security, and propaganda against the regime. A dance. A fucking dance. Oh man, there's a... You know, they're both a couple that are in love and they're about to be married and everything like that, and they decided to have a little dance and fucking 10 years in jail. That's I've actually just recorded about the attacks happening in Iran. One thing is, see, doing stuff like that, massive sentences for like the tiniest little
It's crazy.
Actions that could, in some warped mental gymnastic way, be conceived as a middle finger to the state. Whenever governments start doing that stuff, they're on the way out.
You would hope it's on the way out. You would hope that, but I don't think so.
That's it. These are like the final death throes. This is like they've built their Colosseum, which is a giant testament to the end is coming. I don't see Iran being around for much longer. Or at least the Iranian government is definitely not going to be around for much longer.
Like I say, you would hope that this is the death throes of one of the most horrendous civil rights abusers. You would hope so.
In defiance of the country's strict rules, Miss Haggis was not wearing a headscarf in the video, while women are forbidden from dancing in public. HRANA said a source had revealed the couple had been denied a lawyer during the proceedings at a revolutionary court in Tehran. Well, yeah. I mean, you're not allowed a lawyer or a fair trial in Iran. You know, it's not exactly surprising. Miss Haggis also says that it's said to have been relocated to Korchak prison environment, where the conditions come under regular criticism by campaigners. The video was seen as being part of the movement demanding more freedom in Iran. I know. Imagine not wanting the state to trample all over your human rights. How dare they? Iran has taken an even harder line than normal with any forms of dissent since widespread protests sparked by the death of Mahsa Amini in September. I think the protests have calmed down now after...
And they were stamping out these protests. There were some horrible videos that came out of Iran during that time.
Quite a few deaths and quite a few people receiving like 20, 30-year sentences just for standing there like in the crowd and stuff like that. Yeah, like I said, governments do that. That's a panic response by governments. That's they throw out, you know, it's like shooting the gangster who shoots somebody in the middle of the street. He's probably just completely fucked himself, but he's that desperate to send a message and he's that terrified of people fucking with him that he does something as outrageous and crazy as that. So yeah, that is, again, I don't see them being around much longer. The 22-year-old was arrested for allegedly breaking the country's strict Islamic dress code. The country's morality police unit, which was reportedly later closed down, detained Miss Amini for allegedly not covering her hair properly with a headscarf before she later died in police custody.
Yeah, she mysteriously died in their custody. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Activists posted pictures without her wearing their headscarves as anti-government demonstrations spread across the nation and gained support abroad. The United Nations said thousands of people were arrested in Iran during the demonstrations, and they are all they're all going to receive monumental prison sentences. But I mean, it was a dance in the street. It was a dance in the street. I mean, Jesus, over here.
Yeah. All of that for a dance in the street. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let me see. I think I have another good one. Yeah, like I said, this is my playlist. It's called For Ireland. It's open to the public. Head on in there. You can watch all these videos. I had another good one. again, this is one for more of our British allies who are going through the same thing at the moment.
Political spectrum.
The
So
utter contempt this woman has for ordinary decent people is insane.
the left-wing Byline TV presenter Marina Purkis has decided to have a meltdown in a video rant against the British right-wingers. Oh dear. About one of her rants on the Jeremy Vine show. She says, I'm not always having a go at this government. Sometimes I'm sleeping. Ooh, great. Well done. Okay, let's go to this video that she's done and react to it as we go.
Apparently I'm rude, I'm gobby, I'm vile, I'm...
Good start, good start.
Too much of a champagne...
Look up the word for us. That isn't an eye-opener. Wolf and bear. Okay, I will.
socialist, I'm not enough of a Corbynista. Right, let me tell you what I am. I am fed up. I am so sick of the right being able to say whatever they want. They spout lies,
that's called free speech, Mrs.
misinformation, they spread hate.
Let's translate this. What she means is I am sick and tired of being forced to debate with the other side of the political spectrum. So I'm going to start doing gaslighting and I'm going to basically start calling them names.
Edmund the Saxon. Make St. Patrick's Day, Patriots Day. Get the snakes out of Ireland. Replace the political class before they replace us. Absolutely, Saxon.
That's the translation.
And then the opposition, they have to tread so carefully, they may as well be mute.
I don't know what planet he's on, but I wish the left-leaning people were mute. But by God, they're the loudest pack of chickens out there.
BBC, it feels like it's gagged, and broadcasters, they play it way too safe.
Sorry. Just she she says the BBC is playing it too safe, as if they're just mute and gagged. So she's proactively saying, as a left-winger, that the BBC must be more vocal. That the BBC must be more biased. She's literally saying it. That is her demand. Really? Is that the job of the BBC? I think that's the job of Byline TV.
I won't, and we shouldn't. I might have a platform here on Byline TV and other shows. I might be able to reach a shed load of people on Twitter. But think of all the people you could reach.
What?
We all need to keep calling out the lies and the misinformation, whether it's coming from,
They want you to squeal on your neighbour. That's what they want. They want you to squeal. They want you to turn against each other and squeal on your neighbour.
Secretary of State, and it often does, or that bloke down the pub.
There we go. This is the modern left. Back in the day, we're talking about decades ago, the original left and the original liberals, the whole difference between this side and that side was that they always claimed at the time that at least they were not punching down. They were always punching up. They were always fighting against the establishment. Now, they're fighting against the bloke at the pub. That's punching down. And they used to accuse the political right, until quite recently, until a few years ago, that, the political right, they punch down. Why are they attacking illegal migrants or this or that? But the political left and
Britain is going through the same thing we're going through as well, and they are fighting back too. And it's great to see those demonstrations over here, over in Britain, just the same as over here in Ireland. Now, here's a scary one. They want obviously the Irish government is absolutely shitting themselves with the demonstrations that are going on right now. They are shitting themselves. And that's a good sign, because now they're panicking. Now they're trying to bring in a law.
If you casually express an opinion within 2 football fields of an asylum centre, that could soon be a...
John Brandon O'Neill, hello from Ireland. How you doing? I'm in Ireland.
crime in Ireland under a newly proposed law. This is Ben Scallon and you're watching Gripped Media. Before we start the video, if you want to support Gripped on our work, make sure to click like, subscribe.
Grip do some good work, but yeah, I'm just I don't know. Me personally, yeah, they do good work.
Subscribe and comment, because by liking, commenting and sharing, this channel will get boosted in the algorithm and get seen by more people. So if you want to see this channel grow,
videos will
just
be
take 2 seconds right now to like, comment and do your part to support independent journalism. And so with that said, on to the video. The Irish government is currently looking to pass a bill which would ban protests outside of asylum centres like the ones at East Wall, and you don't have to take my word for that, because Fianna Fáil Senator Malcolm Byrne has told us as much explicitly. As the senator said in a statement earlier this month, the Protection of Private Residences Against Targeted Picketing Bill 2021 is designed to ban protests against individuals outside of where they live. We need the legislation to protect homes. That applies to the temporary homes of those seeking refuge as much as to elect.
But the vast majority are not seeking refuge. They're illegal migrants. I don't have a problem with some poor family from Ukraine escaping a war zone. They're more than welcome. You're also more than welcome to get a visa, come over here and work. That's no problem either. It's the undocumented that are going to cause serious problems. They're causing serious problems out there as we speak. They're hurting people. They're hurting themselves, and they're hurting Irish people too.
Elected representatives. This legislation, which the government is apparently working fast to get signed into law, would effectively ban peaceful protests across Ireland like the ones in areas like East Wall, and has gone completely unscrutinised by most of the Irish media to date. According to the bill, those in breach of the proposed law would face a Class D fine, which could be up to €1,000, a year in prison, or both. And virtually nobody is talking about it for some reason. Now, before we get too negative, I must say that in fairness, it's not all bad news. You'll still be allowed to protest in a few locations that the government has deemed acceptable. As Byrne said in the statement,
I find this absolutely disgraceful if this gets voted through. What happened to living in a free society and having the right to protest? No, you can't protest here, but you can protest down the road down there. You want to go down there and do it? What are we turning into?
if anyone is unhappy with the government policy, they can protest outside Leinster House, outside government departments or agencies, or outside elected representatives' offices. Wow, how generous, eh? What would we do without them? And so, in light of all this, I went down to Leinster House to interview the senator last week on his bill in some depth.
The list of quote-unquote acceptable places to protest seems to be getting smaller and smaller. How can you have a free democracy?
Yeah, this is not a free democracy.
When the government can say how you're allowed to protest and the way in which you should conduct your protest, does that not seem grossly inappropriate?
Well, I mean, if you read the bill, I mean, what the bill provides for is around an individual's private residence. I'm aware that there are other issues.
But that would include asylum centres.
In other
which might be in a person's neighbourhood. Like if somebody lives at East Wall, for example, that they could be protesting on their own street, and it might be outside somebody's residence.
But who made the decision with regard to East Wall to look at housing people in East Wall? It wasn't.
Together in Ireland we have lit a flame that ages shall not extinguish. Guard that sacred flame until it illuminates Europe, lights again the paths of mankind.
It's those.
We are the pathfinders, and we are mighty pathfinders. We are going to light the way. People are talking about it. People are scared. They don't want these protests being shared, being put on social media. And that's exactly what we have to do. We have to keep these protests. We have to shine a light on them. And we can't be stopped in a peaceful way.
Who are seeking asylum or refuge who are there.
If you'd like to watch that full 8-minute long interview, you can do so by looking up this video on gript.ie or on most social media websites like YouTube and Facebook. But regardless, at this point it's worth taking a moment to take a look at the actual wording of the proposed bill's text to find out what a protest means in this context. Because after all, how do you define a protest legally? The law is all about defining terms, so does one person silently holding a sign outside an asylum centre constitute a protest?
Right, that's Gript Media, boys and girls, and that's what's coming down the pipeline. They don't want you protesting, so that means we're doing good stuff out there, and we need to keep it up. Now, I have another one from Gript Media, another really good one. The thought police are coming, boys and girls. You're not going to believe this one. You're not going to believe this, if I can find the bloody thing. But the thought police are coming to Ireland. If I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Hate crime is a thought crime.
You know, if
you're not going to believe this one.
The majority of our behavior, by the way, every day is not controlled by the law, it's controlled by social norms. And the problem is that if you start making...
John, if it goes through, there'll be mayhem, but that's what they want. That's exactly what they want. Yes, they want trouble. The mainstream media wants it so bad, they can almost smell it. And when it happens, if it happens, please don't let it happen. If you're at these protests, keep it peaceful. You have to keep it peaceful. If someone starts egging on the crowd in a bad way, you need to say, hey, no, less of that. No. Okay? Stop that. We're here peacefully. This is a peaceful demonstration.
Things like offence, a legal matter and subject to penal sanctions, then you're going to have problems.
Hello, this is Fatima Gunning and you're watching Gript Media. Today I have Professor Gerard Casey in the studio with me and we're going to discuss a range of issues like the Garda National Diversity and Integration Unit. Professor Casey, can you tell us what...
i.e. the thought police. The thought police are coming for you, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen.
What exactly the Garda Diversity and Integration Unit is?
Well, it's something I discovered existed only a very short time ago, and I suspect that most people in Ireland are completely unaware of this particular division of the Gardaí. It's a they can go online, by the way, so none of this is being made up. They can find it the information online, and it says I'll have to read this because it's long, but it says the role of the unit is to monitor hate crime and hate-related incidents. And to develop policy strategy in all areas of diversity and so on and so forth.
In other words, the government is training you how to talk, what to say, and what to think. This is the government training you, like little dogs. I'll tell you one thing, I ain't no little dog, government.
And of course, the interesting thing there is about hate crime and hate speech, especially in the context of the very likely passing of the new Hate Crime Act by the Dáil.
And in that documentation, it kind of lays out where there's a particular focus on the Guards trying to prevent issues against people who are from kind of different ethnic backgrounds. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It is very interesting. Again, I'm quoting from their policy document, so I'm not making this up, and anybody can find this.
Freedom of speech should be absolute. You should be able to hear from anyone. It doesn't matter if you don't agree with them. They should have the right to freedom of speech. You start cutting down on one side, then you're going to have an off balance, and you're going to have a country in decline, like we have in Ireland.
It's called responding to hate crimes and non-hate.
It's free speech or nothing. You can't have a little bit of free speech. There's only free speech.
Hate crime. One of the thing that's easily confused is, and this is in the new act, is there is a distinction between hate crime and hate speech. All right. And within the context of hate crime, there's a distinction between hate crime, properly speaking, and hate incidents which are non-criminal.
Emmanuel Ganson, hello. Hello. This bill come from UN Migration Pact. I couldn't tell you, Rolf and Bear. I couldn't tell you.
What could that be?
I'll come back to that in a second.
Okay.
But let me answer your first question, which is, it says, on Garda Síochána is...
All I know is now that the guards have the thought police. That's all I know now.
...committed to protect...
And they kept it on the down low. They didn't want you knowing about it.
...protecting the safety, well-being and rights of all. That's fine. Who could possibly object to that? Comma. Then it says, particularly diverse, minority and marginalised communities and individuals.
And is there any definition of that language?
No, there isn't. And I find this, well, this is disturbing for a number of reasons. First of all, I don't know why any section of the Irish community or people living in Ireland should be more protected or their safety or well-being or their rights better protected than any other. That sounds like discrimination. This actually sounds like institutionalized discrimination.
And that's what it all is. That's what this inclusivity, diversity, the words the left likes using. They say it's all about bringing people together, but it's the opposite. They say one thing, and then they introduce laws that do the other.
Which is not what you want. And then, so it refers to them as diverse.
Oh yeah, look it up. There's a section in there that is exactly about this stuff. Orders from above. Certainly sounds like a wolf bear.
Diverse, marginalized and minority. And you can, lots of people can fit into that, right? But in the context of the current discussions, you might think, for example,
madness. It is. Even this poor guy is shocked by it, like, you know.
Controversies relating to transgender, for example, and there's lots of things. I mean, there would be obviously racial considerations there or whatever it might be. So I find that extremely disturbing, that this should be, if you like, part of the policy of the National Police Force of Ireland, that some groups are to be better protected, served, and their rights better defended than others.
And I suppose a lot of those things like, you know, physical assaults or the destruction of property, those things are already illegal.
Yes. So now let's come back to the thing I started with. So what is a hate crime? Well, a hate crime is something that's already a crime.
Okay.
Now it's a double crime because you thought about it. It's crazy. It's a soup of laws all mixed together and none of it makes sense.
But for which the motive is taken to be or is perceived to be by the victim or by anybody else for that matter, which is also incredibly
Who knows, John? Who knows, buddy?
Subjective.
By a third party.
It can be anything. You see, the wording is they can twist it to be anything they want it to be as long as it makes you look bad. It makes you look like you're breaking the law. It's not a law, but it's a mess. They can mess up your life because they feel like it law. That's what it is.
By a third party is perceived to be hate.
So could that be somebody that's not immediately involved in the situation?
Well, I don't know how far that extends. Okay, it might be somebody to whom the story was related. It might be somebody who was sitting by in a restaurant overhearing a remark. So
you could be sitting down in a restaurant. You hear someone talking in a restaurant. You have nothing to do with the conversation. You go online and you say, "Oh, I heard this today," and bam, you're the one getting arrested.
For example, I mean, if I mug you and I take your wallet, right?
Wolf and bear and everything to some people, everything is racism. Yeah, everything has been made political over the last few years. I mean, for Christ's sake, all I wanted to do was play video games. This is a gaming channel. This is this is primarily a gaming channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a gamer through and through. But I just couldn't sit back and just see what's happening out there. See the craziness. You're not alone. You're not alone when you see the craziness. It is true. It's they don't want you thinking straight. They want you doubled up in knots. But it doesn't really work in Ireland because we are knocking it out of the park with the John or Brandon O'Neill. It's getting even too complicated for rappers too. Yeah, all right. They don't want you thinking straight, but it's so simple. All we keep doing is demonstrating, keep spreading the word, keep getting out there, keep sharing the demonstration videos. That's how simple it is. That's how simple we keep it. We keep the demonstrations peaceful. Oh, it's crazy. And again, this cracking down on crazy stuff.
International songs being banned from being sung during sporting events has a very...
Now, you and I know that no football man is you can't tell football fans. You can't sing that because then they're going to sing it. Yes, John Brandon O'Neill.
Very long history.
We have
Scotland.
to leave the
In fact,
EU.
these are the exact...
But like I said before, we have to get a national party in there. We have to vote either for the Irish National Party or the Irish Freedom Party. We have to get a party in there that cares for the Irish people. And then we work on getting our asses out of the EU as fast as possible.
Same type of laws that our current speech laws are actually based on.
Exactly, not a law. Yeah, it's a law they can bend to mean anything they want it to mean.
The first, say with speech laws, they always try and just get a little foot in the door first, and then from there they grow their horror.
This is another thing that's happening. Trying to ban songs, trying to force you how to think, what to say. This is another one of these videos.
Black tentacles all over everybody's rights and everything else. That's what the government does. When you try and give it an inch, it will try and force its way in even further. Right? That's just what it does. That's why I'm always saying, like, oh, it's to protect people from bigotry and racism. And if you think that that's where it's going to stop, then I've got a bridge to sell you. But it seems that the Welsh are having their own version as well. Delilah, however, it's Delilah banned from choirs at Principality Stadium, right? The song sung by Tom Jones.
The Welsh fans are gonna sing that song loud and proud. They're gonna sing it.
That old crooner that your gran probably really fancies, right? That it's from him, so it's not quite the Billy Boy.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, John Brendan O'Neill, because the British are in the same boat as us. They're going through exactly what we're going through, and they're actually ahead of us, but as in not ahead of us. That's the wrong way of putting it. They're actually in a lot more trouble than we're in. They're actually in a lot more trouble than we're in. But their demonstrations are coming up. And we need to work together because they're going through exactly the same thing.
It's not quite we're up to your knees in Fenian blood, surrender or you'll die. It's Delilah by Tom Jones that's being banned. Choirs performing at international rugby matches at the Principality Stadium have been banned from singing the Tom Jones classic Delilah.
See, this is all part of the woke sickness that's on the left. They see something. They see something evil in something as innocent as the song Delilah. I don't get it. I don't think like them. I don't want to get it. I don't want to think like them.
The stadium said it would no longer be performed by choirs after removing it from halftime playlists in 2015. The song has caused controversy with lyrics depicting the murder of a woman by her jealous partner. A stadium spokesman says it was respectfully aware that it is problematic. It's...
How? The song is from the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, right? How is it problematic? We've been humming it and singing it for 4 decades. How is it problematic now?
A song. It has, however, long been popular with supporters of the national team, and Jones has previously performed the song ahead of an international match. The decision follows a week in which the chief executive of the Welsh Rugby Union was forced to resign following allegations of sexism, misogyny, racism, buzzwords within the organisation. Without referencing the decision, Wales wing Lewis Rhys-Zammit wrote on Twitter on Wednesday afternoon, "All the things they need to do, and they do that first." The BBC is not... a Principality...
Yeah, the fucking BBC.
Stadium spokesman says, Delilah will not feature on the playlist for choirs for rugby internationals at Principality Stadium. Guest choirs have also more recently been requested not to feature the song during their pre-match performances and throughout games. The WRU condemns domestic violence of any kind. It's a song.
It's
a song.
It's a fucking song that was released in the 70s, maybe even the 60s. I mean, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with people?
We have previously sought advice from subject matter experts on the issue of censoring the song, and we are respectfully aware that it is problematic and upsetting to some supporters because of its subject matter. But the Welsh Conservative Shadow Sport Minister, Tim...
What about all the gangster songs that are out these days? What about all them songs? Talking about drugs and shooting people. What the fuck?
Tom Gifford, or Gifford, I don't care.
Roddy Murray films new video on.
Called the decision wrong-headed. One that amounts to simple virtue signalling designed to ease the pressure the WRU are currently under. He said, calls to ban the song span at least the last decade, yet the WRU have chosen now to...
Yeah, look, it's the woke nonsense, you know? It's woke, it's the woke ideology. It's a sickness. It truly is a sickness. I try and get a lighthearted video. A lighthearted video for the last video. Try and get something funny. Oh yeah, this'll make you laugh, boys and girls.
The St. Bridget stuff in particular, I think, is this idea that, you know, we're actually celebrating a pagan goddess. That is, to me, it's a form of bullying. It is essentially a statement to the people who are sort of still devout and faithful in this country and tend to be, you know, they're people who listen to their local.
Now, I'm a lapsed Catholic. I mean, I'm a very lapsed Catholic. I was born and raised a Catholic, but I've kind of lost my way. But I still respect people who do believe. The left does not.
radio station and read the local newspapers and go to mass on a Sunday and live ordinary, normal lives. This is a group of people in Dublin essentially saying, we're going to take your saint and we're going to turn her into a pagan goddess who was a lesbian, practiced abortions, and all of these things, and there ain't a damn bloody thing you can do about it. Because on the St. Bridget's thing, for example, it is a statement of fact that the 1st of February is St. Bridget's Day because that is her feast day as a saint in the Roman Catholic liturgical calendar. It is further true to say that she was not a pagan goddess. She's a real living human being whose skull is in the Basilica of Saint something or other in Lisbon in Portugal. But the point is, she was a real documented living human being, not a goddess. They are two distinct entities, and they are being deliberately conflated in order to advance this absurd narrative that St. Bridget was a lesbian. The basis for which
read your sacred geometry and restore your faith. And I think I'm gone beyond that, Saxon.
Which, by the way, the basis for that is the argument that she had a female companion who famously travelled around with her everywhere, therefore she must have been a lesbian. Now, Dave,
do you see what the left, the woke left with their sickness are trying to do? They're trying to piss all over your beliefs. Trying to make them, it's just... It's a low blow.
But if I was to say that today about some prominent Irish woman, that she travels everywhere with a female companion, therefore she must have been a lesbian, I would be denounced as a kind of homophobe. But it's okay to say it about a saint years ago. The evidence advanced for the idea that she was an abortionist is a single text dated to hundreds of years after Bridget would have died, in which a tale is told where she laid her hands on the stomach of a woman who was pregnant after rape, and the pregnancy disappeared. Now, I'm not aware of anybody who can commit such a miracle today, but I would put it to our listeners that if you said to the people who are advancing this bullshit that St. Patrick drove all the snakes out of Ireland by waving his staff, they would laugh in your face and tell you were believing in fairy stories. Yet when it comes to believing in a fairy story themselves, or pretending to believe in a fairy story, they'll do it if it gives them the opportunity to rub people's faces in the fact that they can desecrate something precious to them and laugh.
I believe that, Section. There is some dodgy stuff going on with the people in charge in dark rooms. I believe it, yeah. But, then you get accused of being a conspiracy theory nut. So I try and keep away from them dark stories. But yeah, those rappers are normally from the majority brigade. Yeah, but none of their songs are getting banned. It's only ours, normal people's songs are being banned, but not our songs. Normal. What's normal? In this day and age. I mean, Christ. My God. All right, boys and girls. That was it. We've seen a good few videos tonight. I got work in the morning, so I think I'm going to head off there. Now, it can be... Some of these videos can make you... Yeah, it's propaganda. Some of these videos can make you feel a bit down and a bit depressed. I would suggest if you do go into this playlist, just watch one video a day and just go about your normal day and be a human being. Go listen to your favorite music. Go watch your favorite movie. Go hang out with your favorite person. Just don't consume this 24/7, 365, because you'll end up like a crazy leftist. You need to take this in small doses. But we need to keep the fight. We need to keep the protests going. That's what we need to do. And that's what we need to concentrate on. This is just the tip of the iceberg with the madness that is out there. I was on a march on Saturday in town. Caught the Garda working with the guy. It's really all of them in it together. Oh, there was a guard pretending to be a protester. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. Yeah, we need to free our minds of this bullshit that they want you to get tangled up in. We just keep it simple. Keep the protests up. Keep sharing the videos of the protests. You have no idea how much that helps. Keep sharing the videos. Keep talking about it. Keep spreading the word. We need to keep this pressure up until the next election. And then we need to vote differently than what we've been voting. We need to vote for either the Irish National Party or the Irish Freedom Party. They're the only two parties that are said they're going to change. They said they're going to halt. If they get into power, they'll halt it straight away. No more illegal refugees. We need to keep the pressure up. Stay calm. Yes, Stalin. Stay calm. Record everything. Get your phone. Everyone has a phone. Don't tell me you don't have a phone. Everyone has a phone. Get it out. Record. Like I said before, have a bring a flag. It doesn't matter if it's not an Irish flag. Bring your football team's flag, your county flag. Bring a flag. Get the colors out there. So when people look at the videos, they see ordinary, decent people flying the flags. Like I said, fly the flag in one hand and have an open hand for handshakes in the other. Meet people. Go up to people. Talk to people in these protests. Find out who they are. What they want and what they want out of this. Swap phone numbers. Bring the community closer together. That's one thing the Irish government does not want. It does not want you closer together. But that's what we're doing. And that's what's freaking them out. Nationalism is practice patriotism. Yeah, it is. Don't be ashamed of voting for a national party. Jesus Christ, we are beyond that at this stage. We are beyond that. I'm bringing the Union Jack. Well, yeah, okay. Just bring a flag. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the tricolor. Just bring something with a bit of color in it. So when people are watching back the videos, they see the color, and it attracts them in. They say, "Oh, what's going on over here? I like the look of this. I'm going to join this." We need that. We need to wake people up. We need to talk to people when we're on these protests. We need to tell them why we're doing this, why you're doing this. Bring a fucking tea towel. Yeah, exactly. If it's a color of a tea towel, bring a tea towel. It doesn't fucking matter. Just wave something. Have a bit of fun about it. Because it's so easy. It's so easy to get serious and angry. We can't do that. If you see a Union Jack, don't attack. You're grand, John. You're grand. You're okay. You'll be safe enough because we are the British are in the same boat. I've seen a couple of Irish English videos, and I've seen an Irish flag been flown. So we're all in this together. We're all fighting for the same thing: our families and our freedom. Don't tread on me at the peaceful assembly. John, you're right. Aaron's still under the crown. That's not. I don't think that's not what John said. It's not. It's not to do with the crown, boys and girls. It's the European Parliament. They're the corrupt bastards that are doing this to us, because they're doing exactly the same to England, to France, to all of Europe. It's the European Union, and who's over the European Union? The World Economic Forum. And I guarantee you, there are dark figures above the the World Economic Forum. I guarantee you, it goes a lot further than the World Economic Forum, but we'll never get to see that room. We'll never get to open that door. You know what I mean? We need to leave the pettiness behind us between England and Ireland. We need to leave that at the door at the moment. We need to work together because we're going through the same thing. I truly believe that. It's the European Parliament headed by the World Economic Forum. They're all behind this. That's it. The body of the snake is the EU. We love Europe. The EU serves the WEF. Yes, the WEF. We talked about that earlier on tonight. I showed you the videos. It does exist. It is real. The amount of famous names behind it is unreal. Yes, Celine, just record everything. They can't touch you if you record. If anyone starts riling up crowds, just say, hey, no, that's not why we're here. We're here for a peaceful protest. And we need to keep it going. We need to keep the pressure on. We really do. Right. But like I said, we can't, you have to be a human being too. So I have another playlist over here. It's just full of movies on YouTube. So if you feel like chilling out, hop into this playlist. There's everything from sci-fi to westerns in this, and documentaries about movies, and movies about documentaries. So you come in here and you can watch your way. These are all the free bootleg movies on YouTube. So hop, you need to relax every so often. So you can hop in. I opened this up to the public. So you can hop in here and just relax and see what's available. I'm going to leave it there, boys and girls. We've had a good night. How long have I been streaming? Nearly 2 hours. An hour, 1 hour and 50. Not too bad. Thank you for all the likes. Much appreciated. I'm going to give you an update on my channel. For those who are following me, the company I work for is pulling out of Ireland at the moment. So in about 5 months, I'm going to be losing my job. So you're probably going to be seeing less of me. You're probably going to be seeing less of me over the next couple of weeks because I've asked them for as many shifts as possible. But after the 5 months is over, I will be going hardcore on this channel, and I will be making more videos. But this, don't forget to hit the like button. Yeah, Saxon, it really helps, guys and girls. I'm going to leave a description to my Twitch, my gaming channel over in Twitch. If you don't know what Twitch is, it's a website by Amazon, and it's for gamers and stuff. So if you're worried about security, don't worry. It's run by Amazon. Amazon runs it. It's totally safe platform. I'm gonna leave a link to. Oh, don't worry. Yeah, it's like I said. I'm working like a madman at the moment. Absolutely, Rolf and Bear. I'm gonna leave a link to my Twitch channel. So if you could go over to Twitch and just follow. It's the same as YouTube, but it's just video games and stuff. It would really help me there too. It doesn't cost anything. It's all free, just like YouTube. I'm gonna leave. Yeah. Thanks for all the support. It's been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm up to 425 subscribers. That for me, that's a hell of a lot. And I just want to say thank you for all the subscriptions. Much appreciated to everybody. And just keep plugging away, boys and girls. Just keep sharing everything. And I truly believe we'll get through this. We will. All right. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all again. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for sticking with me for nearly 2 hours. And I'll probably do this again next Sunday. we'll probably make this a Sunday hangout kind of a thing, and we'll go through another group of videos, and we'll try and have a bit of fun, have a laugh about it, but keep the protests going, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Keep them going, and I truly believe we will make a difference in the next election. I truly, we can't go on like this. So something has to change. Good night, everybody. Be safe, and I'll probably see you all next Sunday. Like I said, I'm going to be working like a madman. I'm actually working Monday as well, the bank holiday. So you probably won't see me until we'll probably mark it down to next Sunday night. I'll do another live, and we'll go through another couple of videos and just have a bit of a laugh. But until then, be safe, keep your heads down, and I'll see you next time. See you next Sunday. Nighty night. Have a good one. I'm pretty bad at saying goodbyes. Go on, get out of here. Get out of that garden. See you all later, people.